Here with Shift Happens. I'm the founder of Moving Pro Software and Lion's Den booking service for the moving industry. Have my dad here, Gary, again, which is super awesome. We're doing this live stream for the first time. We've never done one before. We will see how it goes. Our goal really, we've been in the moving industry for a pretty long time, and we really enjoy helping people that are been in the moving industry or just coming in and kind of helping them. So thanks, Dad, for being here.
Oh, it's going to be good. It's a rainy day outside, so I know there's a lot of people sitting inside just waiting to make a call and try to pick our brain or stump us or do something. But let's have fun and let's get some folks to call in and see how we can help or how we can discuss opportunities in the moving business.
For sure. So obviously my dad, so some of you may have watched that podcast, but my dad and my grandmother took over a moving company back in the mid-'80s. It had been in business in our family for 53 years before we sold it. We sold it a couple years ago.
Total
53 years
before we bought it.
Yep. And you were in it for 38. I was in it for about 10.
Yeah.
Give or take, right? 10 of actually working in the business and management and stuff like that. Probably truly in 30 years or so because I was the little terror that was going out on trucks.
He was the terror, riding dollies up and down the aisles and trying to get on the forklift. And he was a problem for a while.
Yeah. And so we have so many stories there. I accidentally, remember when I caught the Model A on fire inside the warehouse? Yeah, that was bad. Anyway, we'll talk about that at some point. So anyway, it looks like we already got some callers coming in, which is super awesome. And so it looks like Ryan from Local Movers we have. So let's see if we can get him in. Ryan.
Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing? Thank you so much for calling in. So obviously you were
no problem.
Yeah, so you were on our podcast a few weeks ago, and I just think it's really cool. A lot of people have been watching it, which is awesome, and kind of what you've done with your company over. I think you've been in business for just almost 4 years, and started off as a regular lumper in the moving industry, and then started your own moving company that now you've got several trucks and an office and storage and stuff like that. So I think it's super cool. You there?
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I really enjoyed being on the show. Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, so that's cool. So anyways, one of the things I'd love, you were at Legends. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about Legends Retreat that we did for the moving companies and what your experience was with it.
Yeah, definitely. That will also lead into my question I have for the show.
Awesome.
But yeah, Legends Retreat was a lot of fun, a really good learning experience. I mentioned it on my podcast with you that I've never done anything like that in my life. I've never gone to any sort of, you call it retreat, or you could say convention, conference,
sure,
with other people who are in the business world and in the same business as you. So it was very valuable. And then there was people there from all different levels of the moving industries. And it was just great networking with them, and then just learning and growing. There was really good speakers, and the house was incredible, and I learned a lot.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, we're certainly happy that you came to it. I think my dad, he was one of the speakers as well as myself, and
there was a great mixture of people from around the country that were there, and it was exciting to hear the different stories that the different movers had as far as successes and what they were finding, and how they shared them with each other. So it was really good. That interaction was as valuable as the speakers. But it was a great event, and we had a good time. And I think everybody left there happy. They had learned a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's get in. What's your question?
Yeah, it was an incredible event, and there was people from all over the country. I know there's people from Oregon and then New Jersey, where I'm originally from, which was really cool. Then there's some local Florida people who I was able to connect with. So, pretty much people from all over the country. So that was awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, my question for the show. So I just wanted to ask you guys, obviously we're headed into summer season, the busy season, and what are kind of the tips and advices you would give to a moving company that, you're going into busy season, this is really the time to maximize your revenue, maximize your profits. So how would you guys kind of alter your strategy, say for, May, June, July, August, September?
Yeah. You want to start that one off?
Well, I tell you what, I can't really hardly hear it on my earpiece. So
Push it in a little further, maybe.
if they can turn up my earpiece a little bit. But.
Yep. So I'll kind of answer. So, the best thing, obviously, for us, when we hit the busy season, it was almost easier for us to operate than in the slow season. So obviously, you already know that. When it's, the busy season, obviously, you have business coming in. You're able to keep your guys super busy. It's super easy to have guys that are coming in every day. You're not worried about, oh, you work today, but you're not going to work for the next couple of days, and then they go find something else. So that's one of the biggest things. Our biggest focus when we were so busy and what was really important for us was just maintaining the customer service that we had, even when we were slow. So when it's slow, it's obviously really easy to have really good customer service. It's really easy to be able to take good care of customers because you're slow and you can really focus on the time with those customers. And what happens with a lot of moving companies is when they get busy, they run themselves ragged and they don't have time to really take good care of customers. And they're picking up guys that maybe shouldn't be in people's homes, moving them because they just need to cover the job and stuff like that. So that was one of the things I think we really focused on when the busy season hit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else do you have? So busy season, his question essentially was the busy season, what are some of the things he can do to prepare for obviously the busy season that's right around the corner?
So the busy season, really, because you are busy and there's lots of hours available for the workers, all the team, that you can really attract a lot of guys. Yep. And you can build your team up a little bit more where you've got some extras. So it seemed, as you said, like when we were really busy in the summertime, we didn't have as much problem filling the spots and putting the crews out as we did when it was slow.
Yeah. We worked a lot. Don't get me wrong. There was long hours and stuff like that, but it wasn't But
having a group of guys when you're busy is really good.
Yep. And so, that's pretty much, I don't know if that answered your question or if you had any other follow-up questions on that. I'd love to.
Well, there's other things to gear up too, as you know it's coming.
Thank you for that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's a great tip, that it's a good time to actually grow your staff and weed out, you could almost overhire and weed out the people who aren't as good.
Right. I would say also when you're gearing up for your busy season, make sure you got plenty of pads. Make sure you got plenty of materials, because when it gets really busy, a couple times we got caught with our pants down and we couldn't get dollies. They were sold out, or we couldn't get pads, or we couldn't get wardrobes. So, it really makes sense when you know your busy season's coming.
Yep. So that's perfect. So, but anyway, Ryan, thank you so much for calling in. For those of you that are watching, I think Ryan's podcast was last week. It's an awesome hour. You're going to learn essentially how he accidentally named his company The Local Movers, which was not originally his company name, and what he's done to actually outperform competitors in his area that have been in business 30, 40 years in only a couple years. So I think that's really important. We'll probably put the link to that later on, but definitely check it out. So thank you so much. He's done a great
job.
Ryan.
He's very energetic, and he's built a good team very quickly for a young man. He's done a good job. I'm proud of him.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.
Awesome. So it looks like we got, this is awesome. We actually got some callers coming in. We really didn't know what to expect. So that's awesome. So we got several coming in here. Let's take Greg Shepard, my buddy from USA Home Listings. Hey, Greg, you there?
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I'm here. Hold on one second, Greg. Oh. Hey, Steven, we can hear you talking behind the scenes through our earpieces, just so you know. Hey, Greg.
Yeah, we good. There we go. No reverb.
Hey, awesome.
Wait a minute. I'm hearing myself twice every time I speak. Is that right?
Well, I don't know if everyone can hear that. It might just be you. Are you? I'm not sure.
We're not hearing a reverb on you.
Yeah. So hopefully not. Go. So anyway, thank you so much for calling in. Obviously, the caller right now is Greg Shepard. You're the founder of USA Home Listings, which was a partner that we worked with a lot with when we had J&J Metro Moving and Storage here in Orlando. You were one of the speakers at Legends Retreat, which was awesome. And I'm super happy actually that you called in, because I think there's a lot of guidance that you can help movers with. Because you have been in the industry for so long. You started off as just a regular sales rep for a moving company, right?
Yeah, 1993 with Allied Van Lines.
Yeah. So,
And starting, well, it was in Camden, New Jersey. What a lovely place to start. Trust me, not lovely. But hung in there and then became an independent consultant between 99 and 2018 before I started USA Home Listings.
Yeah.
So I had to get all my own leads.
Yep. And I'll say, you know, you were obviously a speaker at Legends Retreat, which was awesome. I think you're in Georgia, right? Where you live?
Yep.
Yeah. So you traveled down to Florida for us, and you were a speaker there. And I'll tell you, I don't endorse a lot of products or services in the moving industry. We really don't. And you're someone that we've I think you and I had somewhat of a relationship before when we had J&J Metro, and we used your service, so we saw it firsthand. And so I think it was really an honor to be able to have you come to Legends Retreat. And I'll tell you, it drives me crazy to see how many moving companies are not doing mailers or say they don't work. And all I can say is, like, I don't get it.
Well, there's a lot of them say it doesn't
I
work
never
because
did either, because those
a lot of them say it doesn't work because they have they're not using a targeted product like he has. So if you're just selling or sending out postcards to certain neighborhoods and doing everybody on the neighborhood, you're not going to get great results.
No.
But when you have a product like he has that's targeted and it's people that have their homes for sale and you know the price range, the location, I mean, it's a product that, you know, when we first talked about using it, I wasn't really sure about it, but it didn't take long, a few months, and the jobs started rolling in. And it's like, oh my God, this does work. And it became a priority every day that we got the list we got those out every day on the same day. Yeah.
Which is a big part. Go ahead, Greg. I'll let you speak. We keep interrupting you, so I apologize.
No, you did everything right. The key is to be consistent. That's it. People make more of it than it is. I said, there's a beautiful home. It just got listed. Would you like them to know about you?
Yeah.
Well, there's two ways. You can fly a helicopter over their house and drop something down on them. Or just send them a piece of mail. It's a lot easier to send a piece of mail. And then they go, oh, look at this guy. He moves people in Orlando. I think I'll look him up. And they look at your reviews and they call you. It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
So,
but that being consistent is the thing. It's every day. Even if it's a busy day and you've got a lot going on, you have to be committed with your staff that those are going out every day. Yeah. Every day. And if you do that, because if you get lazy and miss a few days, then that becomes the new norm, and then you don't do it consistently. So it works. Really works well.
So when we had J&J, and so we were using your service, Greg, and I think at that time you didn't have as many offerings that you do now, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit about it. And I don't have any skin in the game or any kickbacks or anything from Greg other than I just believe in the service. But when we had J&J, we would have hundreds of mailers already pre-made. We used to put them in envelopes. We'd already have a return address stamped in. And we'd have them stuffed and ready to go. And so we'd have a secretary every morning. Part of her job, along with confirming the jobs for the next day, it was that important, was that first thing she would pull the list from USA Home Listings, which in our area, I don't remember exactly, but it might have been between 50 and 100 homes that were just listed. We did both just listed, and we did also under contract. We sent them both. And
now we have coming soon,
which is awesome. Yeah. So we didn't have that then. And so her job was, at the time, she would handwrite every one of those. And I'll tell you, some people say handwrite them. Like, it was worth every penny. And yes, I know there's automations out there. I know there's, but it was worth every penny because the hour it took her to write those and throw them. We had a Pitney Bowes stamp machine. So I think we got a little discount on stamps. But she'd throw those through there and spit them out. And most of the time, our mailman, we were obviously in a business, so our mailman would come by noon or so, and he'd pick them up and he'd be ready to go. Yep. That being said, if things got busy and we missed the mailman, we didn't leave them in our outgoing mailbox to go out the next day. When she went out for lunch, she'd drop them off at the post office. Like, it was that important to us to make sure they went out. And that's where a lot of the movers, I think, mess up.
And another thing, you said we had our return address already on there. But our return address was not the moving company.
It was our address, but it said JJM in super fancy cursive.
So, and it was handwritten
Right, so they don't know what it is.
So
Exactly.
and it's in an envelope, and so when they get it, they think, like, is this a wedding invitation or what is it? It doesn't. In other words, like a postcard that goes in the garbage. So, what is this I got here? So they open them up, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
So there's some little secrets that you do to increase the odds of them opening it and looking at it.
Yeah, and our goal for me, just thinking like at my house, so when I go out and get the mail at my house, and I'm a younger individual in the sense that I don't send letters and stuff like some of you guys used to back in the day. But when I go out to my mailbox and I get the mail, the only things that make it into my house are bills and the things that I know that they are. But on my way from walking and I get into my garage, everything else goes in the recycle bin. And so the point of us sending them in an envelope and the point of us, disguising it with the return address of JJM fancy instead of J&J Metro Moving and Storage. The point of it was we wanted to make it in the house.
Yep.
We didn't want the people to throw it in the trash can or in the recycle bin on their way in. And so if we made it into the house, then it hit the kitchen counter, and then the goal is they open it, they see what it is.
Right. It's just
the
postcard.
goal of anything in marketing is to get people to stop what they're doing and look. It's not to sell.
Yep.
And I tell people, it's just a connection piece that says, you can go check me out now. Back in 1993, when you mailed, they just looked and said, okay, I'll call them because there's nothing else to look at. I mean, a phone book or something. But other than that, it's a connection that says, wow, this guy got to me. Dang, that was quick.
Yep.
Now, you may not know this, your viewers may not know, but we have it where you don't have to even look at your list every day. It will automatically mail everybody based on the criteria that you set. You may say, well, in Orange County, I think that's where Orlando is, right?
Yep, that's one of our counties, correct.
Want only to mail to people, $400,000 and above for new, pending, and coming soon. Okay. But in the next county over, maybe it's, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. I name a county.
Seminole County or Osceola, yep.
Seminole County, if you say, you know what, with that, I want to do 600,000 above, and I want to put a limit on it of only 50 per day. So if 100 come up, I only want to mail 50. So
nice.
It will literally go into your portal and do this for you, and you do nothing. So it's all on autopilot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it goes out on the first class stamp. So for people that don't have the time to do all that.
Yeah. And the crazy thing for me, and I'm not going to get into obviously pricing on it, but I'll tell you as a customer of USA Home Listings at the time, what you charged was almost laughable in the sense of the amount of business it brought in. And that's not an insult. That is like, I don't know what we paid at the time, but it was less than $1,000 a month, and it was bringing in tens of thousands of dollars
because
a
they're
month.
all targeted at the higher price homes. That was what it was targeted at. So those jobs, they're just as easy to get a $600,000 job as a $200,000 home, right?
Yeah.
But
way
you target it.
Yep.
Well, and we were going in
way easier.
Most of those that we were targeting at the time.
Those people are easier to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And most of those that we were targeting at the time, they were nicer homes where the people weren't packing their own stuff. They weren't wanting to deal with it. So we would come in and, our average ticket, I don't know what it was off the top of my head, but, maybe was $1,500 a move or something like that. The USA Home Listings ones were like $2,500 to $3,000 because a lot of those we were doing
$10,000 ones.
Oh, for sure. But a lot of those we were going out and we were doing full packs for them.
Yeah.
We were bringing stuff back to storage because their new house wasn't ready yet. We were doing a whole lot of stuff.
Yep.
That there were bigger, nicer moves. And that was one of the things, the last caller that called in was Ryan, and during his podcast, we talked about it. In the very beginning, when he started, all his moves were small apartment moves because he hustled. He went to hundreds of apartment complexes in downtown Orlando within walking distance and handed his cards out, which was a ton of work, and he got a lot of business from it. But they were all small moves for the most part because they're apartment moves.
That's what he's targeting.
Yeah.
And that was what he was targeting versus with something like USA Home Listings where, in now's market, you might be targeting $1 million homes and plus, which are going to be $5,000 to $10,000 moves. That's what you should target.
But
when you're slow, go for the smaller moves.
I've always found that those people they complained less. They wanted more.
100%.
And if something happened,
they had
they
the
didn't
money.
lose their mind because it's not their last dollar.
They expected to pay it. They want a good service. They make a quick decision.
Yeah.
And you get it done. And
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
good. They're good.
Don't even get me started. Yeah. I mean, there would be big moves we do in a nice, $800,000, $1.5 million, whatever, in that range home. And you'd break something. Guys would scratch something or break something. That was definitely meant something to the customer, but the customers would be understanding and actually like feel bad for the guy that it happened because like they know that it affects his job. And then we would go and you do an apartment move where like the people have, and I'm not being mean, but they just have like the furniture was junk. Like the furniture is falling apart and it's a particle board desk that's been moved 8 times. And when we move it the 9th time, it breaks and the customers live it. Doesn't want to pay the bill.
They want a free move then.
Yeah. And it's just like,
It's
like no. So,
I know.
so anyway, so
I
that's
would say
awesome.
the people that push a pen for $200,000 a year, and this is just reality check after 30 years, do you think they don't know that that guy in the truck is working hard? To think otherwise is just silly. They get it, and they're thankful that they don't have to work hard. That's why they live where they live.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just believe that to be the truth in general.
For sure. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Greg. And we'll catch you on the next one.
It was great.
We're probably going to start doing these, I don't know, once a month or so. We really enjoy helping people.
Yep.
We love the industry.
That's
and
awesome. So do I.
So
yep. Good to hear
awesome.
from you.
So thank you so much.
Nice to talk to both you and Gary.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right. So I think we got another caller calling in. Elliot at Mercer. No, Elliot Mercer, I think, with Butter
Butter
Brothers.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hey,
I hear you.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. How you doing, buddy? This is Jason.
How's it? Hey, Jason, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, buddy. Thank you for calling in. What can we help you with?
Yeah, so and apologize if I'm kind of slow because I can hear myself in my ears as well.
No problem. Okay. We will figure that out for the next one.
But I'll talk through it. Okay. So I'm just getting started in the moving industry here. Working through, we got our licenses in place, kind of established the market we're going to go after, but really kind of struggling with how many, I guess, sources of marketing there are. There's leads, obviously, social media, traditional methods like knocking doors, brochures, things like that. In 2024, I guess, what would kind of be your initial marketing strategy for getting, say a new moving company kind of off the ground and running?
Sure. You want to take that one
Yeah.
to start?
So I would say, first and foremost, you want to have 3 or 4 different key areas that you're going after, right? When I say products. So social media, I would say definitely is a social media one. You can do that by yourself or you can hire somebody to really kind of jazz it up. But social media can spread faster than anything. And if you get some of your own friends and family and so on to help share that stuff, it can go pretty viral pretty quick. Then the next thing is, as soon as you do some moves, get some referrals. Get some good referrals going on your website. You can have a website. Do you have your website yet?
We're going to have a landing page. We're going to wait till we have a few moves under our belt to kind of have some professional photos so that it can kind of personalize the website. Because right now it's just stock photos. Yeah.
So a website is very important because people are going to, most people when they're going to do a move and hire a mover, they're going to kind of check them out a little bit. So some of your competitions have got some pretty elaborate websites. You want to have something that when they go to yours, there's some good content there. And the best content being some great referrals, because referrals go a long, long ways in endorsing your company. And another item would be that you're out there with maybe some signs, some of those signs around the, your moving company name and phone number, cards knocking on doors in different apartment complexes. So I would say you need to really have at least 4 areas that you're focusing on, because you don't know which one's going to work best.
In your area.
Yeah.
What area are you in?
We're in Austin, Texas.
In Texas. Yeah. So Texas is a good area.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big movers in Texas. And I know a bunch of movers that have opened in Texas and they do really well. And I'll tell you, the landing page is great. You got that. The website, I would definitely make one of the priorities as you get launched. You're really going to want to be able to push people to that. Obviously, you're going to want to get pictures of the trucks and stuff like that. But are you planning on having a truck branded in the beginning? Or are you going to rent at first? Or what's kind of your game plan?
Oh, we're going to rent the truck at first until
Sure.
it makes sense for us to purchase one with our own branding. Yeah.
Yep. So that's no problem. So what I would do, and again, I'm going to revert back to it, but if you didn't watch it, I would 100% watch the last podcast I did last week with Ryan. Ryan sounds a lot like the way that you're starting. And that kid has grown, I think he's running 4 or 5 trucks every day now in less than 4 years. And a lot of it for him had to do with hitting the pavement. He was going out, knocking on doors at apartment complexes, getting in with the lady at the apartment complex to refer them. They went out and bought, I think he did 100 or so signs that he did, yard signs, and did them on the corners. He'd drop them off at Friday at midnight, put them in at intersections, and then go pick them up Sunday at midnight because the county's not working over the weekend to take them. Which, is interesting. We never did that. Yeah. And I always would see him and be like, I wonder how much they get from that. He's like, tens of thousands of dollars would come in. My phone would ring off the hook. Yeah. And all his said, it wasn't even his company name. It said local movers and his phone number. And that was it. And he went and got 100 made, and they're pretty inexpensive, and he did it. But, our big thing, especially as you grow, I would do USA home listings. I don't know if you heard that in the last one, the last caller, but Greg's a great guy, knows his stuff, and he really specializes only in the moving industry. And probably in your area, don't hold me to it, but I mean, it's a few $100 a month for, to get your list for at least one of the counties there, and then start targeting some of those customers. So money wise, you might be a few $100 a month. I think he even has a trial for free. I think he's done 14-day trial. If you call him and tell him Jason told you, I think he'll probably give you a 30-day trial, but, and you don't even have to put your credit card in, I don't think. But anyways, and then you just order a couple $100 in literature to send out to those companies. Yeah. I'll tell you, those were a big part of our business. I mean, and for us over the years was hundreds of thousands of dollars in business coming in from those.
Yeah. I'd say really for a new company getting started, for you to focus on getting a couple of apartment complexes and a couple of assisted living places. And you're not going after the person moving. You're going after the person that recommends movers. So you'll find that most apartment complexes and all assisted living places, when elderly people are moving in and out, they have usually a list of 3 movers they recommend. And when you go in there, they're going to say, we already got 3 movers that we recommend. And so you just kind of go low key to say, yeah, I know, but there's times when they're busy. And when they're busy and you got somebody that has to move, I just want to be that next guy. I want to be that number 4 that they call and say, hey, call me, right? Yep. And so you position yourself. So it's not like you're trying to push the other movers out. You're just trying to be that number 4 guy. Yep. And then pretty soon something will happen. One of the other movers will mess up or something will go wrong. Now you're up to number 3. Now you're on the list that they hand out to everybody. Yeah. And if you can get some assisted living places and some apartment complexes that recommend you, you will keep your schedule full.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Huh. And I think hopefully that answered some of it. How did you hear about the podcast today?
Yes, I follow Move It Pro on Instagram. Your guys' content's been very helpful in kind of getting our thing kind of off the ground, and kind of been, obviously taking some notes, and definitely going to go back to that podcast you had the other day.
Listen to that one. And then there's another one with my dad that we talk a lot about, the moving company we had, which was J&J Metro here in Orlando, Florida. We were in business for 53 years. We sold it a couple of years ago. And there's a lot of stuff in there. And there's no right and there's no wrong answer on a lot of this stuff. A lot of it's your market. A lot of it's tests and trials and stuff like that. But the key is you, especially starting out, and this is even me when I started Move It Pro, it's a hustle, man. It is a hustle in the beginning, and you got to figure out what works and what doesn't. And for me, my biggest thing that I feel like has brought success to us in the moving company and brought success to us in Move It Pro is I'm not scared as the founder or the person running it to outwork my competitors. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean I'm working 24/7, but the goal is that, our goal is to always do something. We're always trying stuff. We're always doing, and when you don't do that is when you start falling behind. If you only trust one thing, if you're only growing one way. And when you're starting off right now, man, I'll tell you, now's a good time to start. There's a lot of moving companies that are actually going out of business, that have gone out of business over the last several months because they did so well during COVID. They went into debt building their companies, and then the bottom dropped out with the interest rate so high.
Right.
So now's a good time to come in.
So I'd like to say, too, as an add-on to what I said about the apartment complexes and the assisted livings, when you go in there, and you go in there with an attitude of you're not trying to sell them anything. You're not trying to get them to.
You're here to
You're
help
helping them, and you're building a relationship.
Yeah.
And one thing I always found that worked good was you're not on the list, but you want to be on the list, right? And you say to that person that's a decision maker that recommends people, the next time there's a water line that breaks, or there's a problem with an eviction, or you got somebody that's elderly that needs help, call me.
Yeah.
I don't care. The water line breaks at midnight, call me, and we'll be there.
Yep.
And if you do that one time, you're going to the top of the list.
Yeah.
Now you're in that top 3 for sure. So you're building a relationship and you're offering your service 24/7. Everybody doesn't do that. They only want to be called between 9 and 5. Otherwise, call me tomorrow.
Yep.
You can differentiate yourself as a new business by offering that.
For sure. That's good. Well, I hope that helped, man. I really appreciate you calling in, and I appreciate you watching our stuff. And, our goals, I don't know how often we're going to do these yet. This is actually our first one. But our goal is to do these, and happy for you to call in anytime and ask.
Yeah, I appreciate the help. That was very helpful. Hopefully next time I call back, I got some good news for you guys.
Some success stories.
Yeah.
Well, all the best to you. We know what it's like to be new in a business, and it takes commitment and passion and lots of hard work. So good luck to you.
Cool.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. So anyway, so that's awesome. We had more than we thought we was going to call in, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that, these moving companies that are first opening it is a hustle. Like this is, starting any company, I don't care what it is, but it's not a 9 to 5 starting off,
No, it's
I often laugh, and I think there was something I saw, and I don't remember who it was, Alex Hormozy or one of them, but that was talking about how so many people want to start their own business, and so many people want to be an entrepreneur. And they say, like, one of the reasons, if you ask him, is like, well, I want to make my own schedule. I want to have control of my life and stuff like that. And it's like, starting your own business is the fastest way to be exhausted, to work more than 40 hours a week, to do all that. And don't get me wrong, it's definitely rewarding, and you can build something special and stuff like that. But, building a business and running companies is a struggle.
Here's how the schedule works for an entrepreneur in a new business. You start early, right? And you're on time. You're never late, right? And your day is done when all the work is done.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what time it is.
The work is
if
never
it's 5
done.
o'clock, if it's 9 o'clock, if it's midnight. That's how a successful entrepreneur starts.
Yep.
Start early, and you're not 9 to 5. You are there until the job is done for that day.
Yep.
And then you go to the next day and you do the same thing. And that's how you find success.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, thank you guys so much for being on here. And I don't know when we're going to do the next one. Might be a few weeks, might be a month, might be next week. I don't know. But stay tuned and we'll do some more. So awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for tuning into our podcast. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and get notified each time a new one comes out. We'll see you next time.